Salute evolved monkeys scrolling through magic plastic bodies. I am back again with my stupid video on my latest Game Jam submission. If you have not played my game, please play Coiled Quest first and then come back to this video, or not. Whatever, I won't know anyway. The link to play this game will be there in the description. But if you have already played the game, you will know. Snakes are an integral part of the game, just like they are an integral part of our life. So there will be some snake puns throughout the video. Coming back to the video, this time also my teammate was my friend Bargub. We participated in the Game Off 2024 Game Jam by Github. If you don't know what Github is, let me shed some scale on it. Get it? Shed some light, shed some scale. Snakes have scales and they shed them? If you did not, then that is your personal problem. I don't care. I got carried away again. So Github, it is a version control system. Basically, it helps you to manage different versions of your file to your project so that you don't have to do this. Coming back to Game Off. Game Off is a month-long game jam. Themes get announced the day the jam begins. The theme this year was secrets, and we were allowed to use secrets as acronyms too, But we decided to go for a simple puzzle platformer, where puzzles will be based on the theme of secrets. So in other words, we interpreted the word secret as something hidden. So there are a lot of burrowed elements, and hidden bugs in our game. Pun explanation. Snakes live in burrows. I do not like to explain puns, but I know half of you probably don't even know snakes live in burrows and won't enjoy the pun. Coming back again after getting carried away. After deciding on the interpretation, we started hunting for some preliminary assets. Because we are time-deprived people and I am art skill-deprived and 1 month is not enough for Bagu to create sprites from scratch. We usually search assets roughly based on the idea we think. Then we design our game based on the free assets we can find. Then we look for more assets on the go. We thought of making pushable environment objects to solve puzzles, once again like in our first game submission. Check that out. Link in the description. We also wanted to give the ability to pull the objects. But when I tried implementing this using similar code as before, the boxes were just disappearing and then spawning far away, in some negative coordinates. Just like my preparation in the examination hall, I spent a lot of time trying to fix this. I had made them character body 2D like my first game. Unable to figure out, I just scraped it off and created rigid body physics. Then I added physics material, configured the parameters, added player force detectors, and done. The initial sections of the game were previously designed during a failed game jam attempt with just few modifications. The pillar loop, the palace, and the fire floor were already there. You have probably seen these parts in my Failed This Game Jam video. If you have not watched that video, check that out. I got coiled away again. Why do I keep rattling on and on? I randomly found a Medusa asset, and when I saw it, I absolutely froze. We added it in the game mostly as a decor. We also added a puzzle for almost every interaction that is required, at almost every coil. Every turn is twisted. You need to go to second floor? Solve a riddle. You need to cross the flames? Solve. You need to collect something? A riddle again. I also added some weak enemies who were too shy to come close to the player, and once they were comfortable with coming close to the player, started flying with her. Fixing these bugs took some time, but I did them. I wish my enemies would try to fly with me. They are just snakes trying to steal my burrow, while I try to steal from ChatGPT. While working on the implementation, it suddenly clicked me that I should check out the correct export settings. During my first game jam, it took me time to figure out the correct settings. My intuition was right. When I tried to export, I was facing issues with the export settings. Web build exports were getting cropped and not at all responsive. I tried figuring out ways, but could not. Then I ignored the responsive part and focused on just stopping the screen from getting cropped. After hours of struggle, I thought of a hack. I halved my viewport width, height, and camera zoom. This way, I won't have to resize everything else in the game. But this did not work. I was about to go bald, pulling out my hair, but then I reached out to a fellow game developer friend, Shimon, who just pointed out that I had set my window height and width override, and that is probably causing an issue. Snake-tacular observation. After that, things worked, and at least my export was not getting cropped. Most of the basic implementation was done by 20 in 8th November. We were left with sound, UI, and bug fixes. Woke up late on 29th of November only for Pargub to point out there are 30 days in November, not 31, so submission is on Monday. On Sunday, 1st November, I was working on polishing and adding UI when I suddenly decided to check the exact submission time. That said, second deck 3 a.m. in the morning? Have hours left? And since we go to sleep at around 12, 9 hours left? I hurriedly worked on fixing as many bugs as I could, adding UI and polishing touches, sound effects, and stuff. Then at around 10 p.m. we started submitting. But then Itch was not opening on my computer. It was working slow on Pargob's computer. Thank goodness that I was at least able to upload the export from my computer because the entire implementation was on my computer. Of course, I could have sent the export file to Pargob and asked him to upload if I could not from my end. I tried to search if Itch was down on Google, and let's say I got some questionable, unrelated Google results. Anyway, I checked in Discord channels and was happy to know it was not me. It was Itch that was hanging by a thread. After struggling for an hour, we finally submitted and went to hibernation for the day. If you have not played our game yet, please play and comment below which puzzle took you the longest to solve. Yes, play! Otherwise, I will send a snake to your home, even if you live in an iron palace with no holes. Monosha Mongol reference dropped.